In today's video, I want to talk about Solana, the best lending platforms on Solana. As you know, we use the BTC flywheel framework, but it doesn't have to be Bitcoin. We call it that because Bitcoin is the largest asset and most people understand Bitcoin. Most people hold Bitcoin, but you may be stacking Sol or maybe some other asset. And maybe the center of your flywheel, your actual treasury that you want to borrow against, maybe you're sitting on a lot of Sol. So to answer that question, there's really two main platforms, and I really just use one because by total value locked, it's way bigger and it's got more liquidity and its actual APRs are a lot higher. But those two platforms are Kamino and Save. And I want to spend just a few minutes talking about each, the pros and cons, and just kind of showing you around the platform. If you're sitting on assets on Solana and you want to lend them out, borrow against them, or just earn yield on assets that you're holding, like over here on Kamino, on my 10K, I already have $310 in fees and interest on this 10K. Again, not life-changing, but I respect every single dollar. When I was deep in debt, I respected every dollar. When I had a couple $100s to my name, I respected every dollar. When I had a couple 100,000, million, multi-million portfolio, I still respect every dollar. I grew up in a trailer park. That does something to you. I will always respect and always value a dollar. And I will always have a dollar making me more money. I don't care if that is 1 penny a year. Because I know if I can stack up enough dollars, then those pennies turn into dollars, turn into hundreds, turn into thousands. I feel like this generation, or I see so many people, they turn their nose up at, hey, you could make a couple extra $100. That's not enough. But they'll go back to their job making 50 or $100 an hour and giving up an hour of their time. And I'm not mocking jobs. If you love what you do, that is the secret. But if you hate your job and you turn your nose up at 10, 20, $30, we've got to rewire some stuff. By the way, little side note, our tool is coming along beautifully. We are like moments away from releasing it to fast track clients and then to UIG members and then eventually to the public. By the way, fast track and UIG members are going to have a special access to a page that will literally like spoon feed every single week. There'll be a notification that pops up saying, hey, these 3 or 4 positions, these opportunities, these exact ranges that we or clients are in with actual data are doing really, really well. So it'll be a notification. We're planning on doing it every Friday that pops up on your screen. As long as you're a UIG or Fast Track client, it'll give you the range, a link to it, and we're just going to be able to provide a ton more value to members and to clients. But our simulator is basically complete. You can see the liquidity distribution, the volume history, you can back test, you can see estimated fees, very accurate. We've been testing this for quite a while. You can set your ranges, etc., etc. The actual portfolio tracker is complete. Again, this is just the V1 rollout. We have a V2, V3, and V4 plan. We're working around the clock aggressively on this because I know it's going to create a ton of value in the space, but you'll be able to hook up multiple wallets, see your DeFi position, see your token value, actually see the tokens on what chain you're holding, what percentage allocation is on them, your actual DeFi positions across multiple chains, and this will only be growing, and a bunch of other tools. Again, we're just creating the all-in-one tool and like take every paid tool you've ever used. You can tally it up. I know some clients who are spending $400 or $500 a month just on a big stack of tools, pro tools they're paying for. Take all of that, cross it out. This is going to be free and still deliver even more value than all the paid tools. That's our contribution back to the space. All right, so back to lending on Sol. There's Kamino, $2.7 billion of TVL, consistent growth. And it's been super cool just to see these fees, 4 million, 12 million, 13 million, 30 million, 25 mil. And it's so cool how in DeFi we get a piece of that. Like in a way, in a very decentralized way, you get to enter a platform, ultimately invest in it, add liquidity, and you get paid a piece of the actual revenue of the platform. How freaking cool is that? This stuff blows my mind. So if you head back into Kamino and you go into the V1 version of Kamino, you'll see it's very similar, but over here you have borrow and lend. So if I just go back to my dashboard here, 10.58, earn $310 plus some claimable rewards. I go back here, click portfolio, same thing. I have earned 1.64 Sol for lending out my Sol. I have earned $310 of interest. And if I head over to borrow and lend, it's very much like Aave or any other videos you've seen me do. I can go supply, I can go 500 USDC, deposit, done, confirm, and I have supplied my $500. Now I can just go right up in here and go borrow. And just like Aave, I can go in here and I can borrow against my collateral. Pretty straightforward. The other platform is Save. Now be aware there's 235 million. And I do know a lot of people who are using it. I just don't see the upside of using Save when you do have Kamino. Not as much liquidity. Massive issues back in late 2022. Now since then it's been really solid. But I think it's worth having a look. Again, the more you know and the more you look at, the more you click buttons and study this stuff, just the better investor you become. So if we have a look over here on Save, you've got the same type of dashboard. Again, here's your deposit APR, here's your borrow APR. If I want, I can just go into here, I can go deposit. Again, same thing. I could go 500 USDT, bam, deposit, confirm, and done. I got my deposited assets. Bam. And if I want to borrow against that, whatever I decide to borrow, remember your loan to value ratio. And typically we are supplying blue chips, we're supplying Bitcoin, or we're supplying SOL, and we're borrowing against that SOL or that Bitcoin. Do remember that is a long position, but we're borrowing stables and then we're creating yields with those stables. And we're much less worried about impermanent loss at that point, because as the markets go up, we still have our long exposure through the collateral. And even if our pools are going out of range to the upside, we're not insanely worried about that. We're using this to produce cash flow so we can buy more blue chip assets, rinse and repeat. It does not have to be more complicated than that. You can make it more complicated, but it also makes it more hands-on. We're investors, not traders. Really hope that helped. If you want access to our tool, we are rolling it out to Fast Track and UIG members first, but we're going to take a small batch of YouTube subscribers and give access to the tool so you can give us feedback. When I say small, I'm talking like 100, maybe 200 users. And all we ask in return is for feedback from you. If you'd love to have early access, do let me know in the comments below. There will be a page up soon. Once the page is up, we will send you a link to anyone who comments on this, and you'll be able to register for early access. With that said, I'm going to get out of here. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. If this video or if this channel has supported you or helped you or given you value in any way, shape, or form, it's free. We don't run ads. All we ask is share this video or this channel or a video that actually gave you value with someone you know, a community you know. Help us spread the word. Help us spread the gospel of DeFi. The more people we get off these centralized exchanges and these banks and actually using DeFi for what it's made for, not gambling, but what it's actually made for, the power of DeFi, then the bigger the space is going to grow. And not only that, but you're actually helping someone you know out. So do share this video, do share this channel with someone. With that said, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for being here. Peace.